people. Happy Sunday. I'm just now getting up, trying to get myself together and start my day. I wanted to share a little secret with you guys. And you might know the secret, but I just learned bad experiences bring good experiences. Yes! Bad experiences brings good experiences. And I'm going to share with you my vision, my perspective on how that happens. So, where should I begin? Let's talk about the school system. I know many of you guys send your children to school and you expect them to be treated equally and you expect them to get the best education they can get to move to the next level. Well, I just found out that the school system is creating the educational gap. No, it's not the parents, it's the school system. And guess who's connected to the school system? The government. Yeah. So when you get upset about things being done backwards in the system, you really got to go talk to the government. They are considered our father, our mothers, our providers. So that happened when you got a Social Security card and a birth certificate. But that's another video for another time. Let me get back on track. So I had a student make pretty much all Fs throughout the school year. They had bad attendance. And I want you to take note, because if you're wondering how it works and how to get through the system, listen closely. All right. Normally, when I instruct the students or I plan different lessons for the students, I have two ways I try to test for mastery. I either do it by an exit ticket or maybe summative or formative type of assessment. So one assessment is I will give them the answer. I will give them a chance to review, go over everything I taught, and then see what they know and see what I need to reteach. And then there's another type of test I will give them, and that's also the way to test, the state test them, is based on knowledge. And there's no way to really find out if you got it wrong or right until you get your scores at the end. And so this one particular student, some kind of way, ended up, scoring a few C's here and there when they did show up to school. But overall, they were performing at a preschool level. Like, this not even, I want to say is that dyslexia, but I know that I'm not allowed to diagnose. And by the way, let me go ahead and do a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am not a certified nurse or any kind of special education specialist. I am just a average woman working, learning, and sharing the knowledge and hoping that I can touch you and make a difference in your life for the better. That's all. That's it. That's the whole purpose of my videos. Okay, now, so I was told to reach out to the parent and have a conference with the parent. And I did that. I did my part. I covered all of I covered my part in documentation, kept work samples, referred her to IEP. And basically, because the parent did not try to meet with me and make an effort to, come in for a conference and see how we can get to the root of things or how we can get a handle of the girl failing grades, it was pretty much just left untreated. And then it went from that to I decided to see if the IEP specialist can come in and make a difference. And I felt like they were just trying to find a way not to put on extra workload because they already got a whole lot of kids that's coming in with all different kinds of learning disabilities, and it can be overwhelming. But they were telling me, oh, she got to make nothing but Fs. And I'm like, but this girl is not ready to go to the next level. I don't like failing my students, but I know she's already sad and depressed because she's always getting low grades. And then sometimes the other students will see her making low grades and tease her for it. So I really wanted to figure out a way to help. I tried to invite her to tutoring, no show. It was always, she don't have transportation. I'm like, if you know your child is failing, you know how hard the school system is, you will do whatever you can to help your child. If you can't bring your child in for tutoring, at least work with them at home. But then when I seen the mom in the health store, I said to myself, yeah, that ain't nobody trying. It's just, it is what it is. And then I found out this is like the third child that in that family that failed the same grade. So I already know there's something cognitively going on. But, like I said, I'm not here to judge. I'm just trying to help you out. Attendance is important. Another thing, now that she's being promoted to third grade, they're going to really, really see exactly what I'm talking about. And all they're doing is making extra hard work on themselves because there's only so far she can move up and get to where they're going to have to put in that IEP or put in some type of support or accommodation for the student. I have no idea how she made it out of kindergarten with the work and the kind of things she's doing. I mean, she can't even tell me what 5 minus 3 is. I mean, and we're working on multiplication. So you got to have a foundation in order to move to the next level. And it's really disheartening to even find out that a lot of these students are making it through different grade levels, not getting the foundation and the things they need. But like I said, if you have a whole lot of students coming in from a very um, chaotic background, or maybe they have a single mother that just don't really have the time to really sit and work with them, and then they're all sitting in the same classroom with the students that have the parents that really don't have to overwork to make ends meet, or parents that's well off, that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they all got to sit in the same classroom and take the same test. I mean, of course you're going to see a big difference in the scores. You're going to see a big difference in how one performs versus the other. And then that's not just that. When you're coming from a low income background, most likely you're not getting the full benefits of nutrition. Just because you get food stamps doesn't mean that you know how to shop up the right way so your child can get the nutrition they need so they can grow and be able to function and not fall asleep in class, or just lack the nutrition they need to be able to function day to day. So I'm moving on to, that was my little rant and rave about working for the education system. Um, Oh, one more thing I do want to add. I did ask one of my students, now this is a Hispanic boy. I said, well, how do you manage to get straight A's in every semester throughout the whole year in pretty much every subject area? I said, well, what's your, which I already kind of know the secret to it because I did work with my students, at my own children at home. But he said that his parents give him additional work. So not only do they make him do the homework that I send home, but every once in a while they kind of challenge him with other activities. Either they give him an online activity to do, or they print out some tests and trying to challenge him. But they constantly keep the information refreshed in the boy's head, so he won't spend so much time just being on TikTok and playing video games. They're getting him ready for the next level. And actually, even though he is a second grader, he's performing at almost a fourth grade level. So I'm just saying, um, it's not always about the environment, even though that is a big factor, but it's about the effort and the intention behind what you're providing them, making sure it's meaningful. Everything that your child is doing, making sure it's meaningful and getting them ready for society and getting them ready to be successful in this society. And I mean, even with, the simplest things as doing chores. I mean, you're getting them ready for the work field and the workforce, having them follow directions. So when they're sitting in class, they have more social skills, meaning they have self-regulation. They know how to respect the teacher and respect what is being asked of them. So when they get older, they don't have to be so defiant to the point where now you got the police officer on their back, and then here we go with a whole criminal case. So yeah, I just needed to add that in. Now back to the other part. So with the bad experiences, bringing in good experiences, right? So over the years, like I've said in many of my previous videos, I've been through a lot of injustice, a lot of mistreatment, abused, used, all of the board, all of the things that I pretty much can cover that I can remember, that happened to me in my life. And I also developed, some side effects, from all of the bad experiences. But what I want to say is my bad experiences have given me a lot of knowledge. I have learned a lot of lessons. It's not just about, oh, you're going to do that again once you make that choice. It's just like, for an example, if you was born a very quiet, introverted type of person, you're always observing others. I mean, you try to be as friendly as you can, but then people take you for granted. Like, people keep bothering you. I had one girl, her name was Kenya, and we were in the same grade level, but she used to always try to find a reason to bother me. And I'm like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, what I had going on, because, I came from pretty much a rough neighborhood. I didn't have a lot going on. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come to school with brand new clothes on. I wasn't even an A plus student. But for some reason, she would always try to figure out a way to bother me. Now, mind you, I thought she was a very beautiful young woman, young girl. I was just trying to figure out, okay, you dress nice. You're not a bad looking person, but why are you bothering me? And we was about pretty much the same body size. She was thick, I was thick. But one day she decided to ask me for my PE shoes. And I'm like, now, normally she's always picking on me, always teasing me, just aggravating me, and doing gross stuff to me, like plucking out her pubic hairs and trying to put them on my table. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna help her out, because I know that in order for us to get credit for PE, we have to dress out. So I gave her my shoes, and she did say she was gonna give them right back to me. And almost 2 weeks went by. I mean, I had a backup pair, but I still wanted my shoes back regardless. And when I finally ran into her, I said, well, you know what? I really need my shoes. Now, if you really need to keep them and you can't really, afford to get your own, then I respect that. I'll let you have them. This girl took my shoes off and threw them in a trash can and told me to go and get them. That's the kind of situation I went through, helping somebody out. Following a couple of months later, we had a pep rally, and I was sitting at the top, minding my own business, doing what I normally do, just be quiet and observe. And she decided to come and sit behind me, her and another group of girls. I believe it was Kenya, Amanda, and Shakita, if I'm not mistaken. And all I know is it was like a slap in the back of the head battle. It's like One of them kept slapping me in the back of my head, but nobody wanted to be brave enough and say who did it. And I'm like, because I used to wear my hair in a ponytail. I mean, I didn't really, you know, do anything all special. I just wore my hair in a high ponytail, high bun. And the first slap was like, okay, ha ha ha. All right, y'all can cut it out. Yep, you got me. But that second slap, I was like, fuck this. I'm finna swing on whoever behind me because I ain't finna be trying to figure out who slapped me. I'm not doing no any, meeny, miny, mo. And I just started swinging. And whoever was in the way, if you was innocent, you got hit. And I do apologize. I just was tired. I was tired of bullshit. I was already tired from the stuff I dealt with at home. And then coming to school and having to deal with this and got to deal with a darn bitchy ass teacher. I was swinging my ass off. I didn't care. I didn't care if I, and it was dangerous because I was at the very top of the bleachers. And we was rolling our big ass down, rolling it like two big old M&Ms just rolling down the bleachers. But when she got up, she covering her eyes. Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. I ran into it like a couple of days after that. And she trying to snitch on me with my grandmother. Talking about, you see how she effed up my eyes? That's messed up. She messed up my eye. I'm like, well, if your eyes was watching a performance instead of watching the back of my head and trying to slap me in the back of my head, then none of that would never happen. I'm not a violent person. I always try to be a mediator. I try to keep to myself. But once you come at me sideways, once you pick a fight with me, I'm gonna give you what you're looking for regardless. And if I can't get at your ass, I promise you my ancestors will get you. I promise your ass will get kicked one way or another. Even if it's your pockets, your relationship, it's gonna get kicked. So I'm just telling you, I just don't have time for it. But the good that came out of that is she taught me how to stand up for myself. I used to be very, very timid. I used to cry a lot. I used to be so like, but I'm just not perfect enough to fit in and be a part of a group. But she taught me how to be a good friend to someone that deserve it. She taught me how to not tolerate bullshit when you don't have to tolerate it. Just because she was unhappy with herself, had no self-esteem about whatever it could be, doesn't mean that people had a right to take it out on you. So I will say thank you, Kenya, for that experience. Another bad situation, I'm gonna kind of fast forward up to more of a recent event. Um, I was in a situation where when I left and separated from my husband, I was just so down and out. I felt like, okay, well, what is it that I did so wrong for him to lie to me, for him to cheat on me, for him to put his hands on me when, all I had was his back. I had his back when he didn't even know how to put a resume together good enough. And I helped him go from making 40,000 a year to almost 150,000 a year just with a simple tweak on a darn resume. But with all that being done, I was fortunate to enjoy that life of financial increase with him. Um, but the thing is, when he upgraded, I pretty much helped him build up his self esteem, and his attitude started changing. He gave me his ass a kiss, pretty much. And I did not know, I was just more shocked. I couldn't even really be sad. I was just more like, damn, like all you had to do is just tell me the truth. Like, okay, if you tired of me, you feel like you can do better, you want to go wherever the grass is greener, just tell me straight up. I'm very understanding. I'm not gonna flat your tires. I'm not gonna try to destroy your life just because our relationship ran its course. But that's all I asked was for honesty. But I didn't get that. I just got more of a what I did wrong. What I did wrong. He can't ever say I lied to him. He can't ever say that I cheated on him. He can't ever say that I punched him in the stomach or tried to choke him out because he said something. Like, he can't ever say I did him like that. But I was just so stuck mentally and emotionally trying to because, I've been with this person for years. I couldn't figure it out. But I decided to come back home to my mother to see if I can find some comfort, some love and healing. And I got some interesting love and healing in her own special way. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But like I told you in my Mother's Day video, when you're working with somebody that's broken, don't expect any major, wonderful, magical outcome. But anyway, I got to her, and all I kept hearing is, you should have stuck it out. All you had to do was stand up to him. You should have fought him back. I mean, I'm getting all these crazy advices. And then on top of that, it's like she just was getting too far up in my business. And I'm like, Mama, I know I came to you about my brokenness and my situation, but I just need to feel loved. I need to be healed. And I just don't need you blaming and pointing fingers and trying to make me feel less than. But the bad thing is, even though she added more frustration and stress and depression in my life, it pushed me to get my ass up out of her space. That was the good thing. The good thing is it pushed me to work my ass off to get up out of her space, because I had got to the situation, it had got so bad to where I was financially in a stuck situation. Like, all the debt, all the bills that was created between me and him, I was left trying to figure that out and put it together and try to get up out of it. But yeah, I didn't care what kind of job I worked. I didn't care what I had to do. I mean, of course, legally, of course, with integrity, but I had to get up out of there. I said, much love. I appreciate you opening your doors, but it is time for me to go. So the bad thing that happened was I was being degraded. I was being mistreated, verbally used, whatever. And I got myself together. It pushed the strength out of me. It made me realize that, okay, I deserve better than this. I developed more self-love through all of the things that I went through being married, and then going through, narcissistic test, and it helped me really pull it together. So yeah, I mean, and another thing, I'm looking for my income tax somewhere lost out there in the system. I ain't know how, I was depending on that money, and all of a sudden somebody came to me with a check. I mean, a check I rightfully deserved, and it was more than my income tax. So I said to myself, yeah, even though I lost out and don't know where my money at, somebody else came through and looked out. And even though, like I said, my experiences wasn't the best, but I told you, when you're going through some hard times, embrace it. And I know it's hard to do that when you're in the midst of it and you're going through it, but I promise you, if you keep your mind clear of negativity and you try your best to um, just make it through it, don't give up, don't let it get the best of you, you will see a beautiful outcome. You will. I mean, another thing, I mean, I was in a situation where I was paying almost what, 22 grand for a three bedroom in a very, I mean, it was a comfortable house, but it wasn't the best. And I ended up telling my landlord, "Hey, I don't think I can afford. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can afford this." Um, and at the time, I had just left the job. Well, it was that's a long story. I didn't renew my contract in time, and so she was like, "Well, I'll reduce your rent." And I'm like, honestly, this house is not big enough for me and my family. But with that being said, even though I was struggling with rent, even though my career was looking a little shaky, I still pushed through with the little bit I did have going for myself. I ended up finding a bigger house that is pretty much less than what I was paying for a three-bedroom in Tampa. And then I was offered more money on a job, even though it was hard to explain to them why I didn't work out on my other job. I mean, it was almost like a fired quick type situation. But not because I was a bad employee. It's because they needed to make sure my spot was, you know, they had my spot covered, or I was going to be able to cover my spot for next year. So yeah, I'm just trying to uplift others and let people know. I know some people may be going through more of a struggle and worse stories than what I'm sharing, but no matter what you're going through, you can push through it. You can push through it. I mean, even if you're dealing with domestic violence, there's a way out. I had got to the point where I didn't even know which way to go because all I was dependent on was my husband. I mean, all my life he was the breadwinner. He always made more. But I took a little bit of education, a little bit of what I have, and I tried to make the best of it until I can increase my finances, until I can increase self improvement, healing throughout all of it. So basically, I just wanted you guys to know, whether you have a flat tire, embrace it because you may be blessed with something better. Whether you have a whether you lose out on a loved one, it's always something that's coming into place to help bring you joy and happiness. I mean, I'm gonna tell you another secret. When I dated someone that had a very how can I put it in a nice clean YouTube words, just put it this way: they had a weak wing and it was weak, and then somebody was put in my life that have a strong one. That's, hey, embrace that. You just never know. You never know what the universe may bless you with. So what I'm saying is, love yourself, put positivity out there so it can come back to you, and no matter what people say, you keep being the best version of you. And with that being said, I love you and I will be in touch. Peace out.